Welcome back to the garage, and I'm sure, as you know, we're going through how to actually install this. I took it off my bars, put it all back in the box. We're going to take it out as though it's new and go through the full installation process. Let's get right to it. So, what's in the box? For starters, we're going to slap this guy on the bars. And in terms of its orientation, that technically doesn't really matter, but if you want it to slide out, you want to ensure that this is kind of pointing forward. Think of it as a full triangle, if you will, and you want the point of it on the way out. And this slides right on. That's for your phone, but we're going to start with just this because that's completely detachable. Now in terms of this portion here, it is made for your quote-unquote generic size bar of today's day. However, if you are mounting it on a smaller bar or an older bike, it does come with spacers, and they would snap onto your bar and fill the gaps, no problem. For the bike that I'm putting it on, I don't need any of those spacers, but I do need these guys here, the little clamps, if you will, which are going to go down here. And simply put, it comes with hardware, and you put the washer on the screw, and it goes in there, no problem. So let's get to it. We'll install this part, and then we'll go through the rest of it. So this guy pops on this way. Again, thinking of this as a completed triangle, if you will. You want this pointing out. It just makes putting the phone on and off a heck of a lot easier. But this sits on my bars perfectly, and you can see there is no gap. If you're using a smaller bar, that's definitely when you use the spacers. Now I take these guys here, they go underneath, and they get screwed in to the base. I'm just going to flip the camera to the other side so you guys can see this a lot better. And this is where Philip comes into play. It's time for him to get into action. So, screw in a washer, right through our little clip, if you will, into where our phone is going to be. And I'm just going to get it in there, a few threads. Same on the other side here, so swing on underneath. And just a few threads again, so it's still nice and loose. So then we will do the other side. And same story. Again, popping it under. You just want to avoid any cables, of course, because we're trying to make this a nice fine circle and not pinch any cables and make for other things to fix. So again, a lovely screw and a washer, which comes with our lovely little setup here. Couple threads in, and then through the back as well, a few more threads in, and that's more or less what it looks like. It is still loose. That just allows us for some movement and some play in terms of adjustment once we drop it to the stand. I'm going to show you what it looks like and the setup in terms of putting a phone on it, and then I'll drop it and show you really how simple it is in terms of actually deciding where to keep it set up. Okay, so now we're going to use Big Blue, and it goes on this system here. And it's as simple as pulling it on the one side, stretching it around the other, and that's on there. Now in terms of putting it into here, you can try pushing on this all you want, but you actually have to press this button here, which will disengage the spring, if you will, and let you slide it on, no problem. So that's on there, and in terms of releasing, it's simply pushing the button in, pulling it right out. And it's on there, I promise. So now I have my phone, slide it in, and that is not on. This is where your elastic comes into play, really holding it down. You do the two corners and the other two corners, and then it's on there. Now in terms of orientation, in terms of the position of the phone itself, when it's in the mount, once that position's decided, you can have it either this way or this way, and if you really wanted to, upside down, show people where you're going, and the other way. You have a full 360 motion, so whether you're right or left-handed, it doesn't matter. You can spin it all the way around either way, allowing you to flip back and forth between positions very easily. Now this was my initial setup, but I found after riding it that it made more sense to be more or less level with the bars, and orientation-wise, I like the landscape. That's just how I prefer to read maps. But if you guys are setting it up for your first time, really ride it around in your driveway or down the street a little bit just to get a feel for how it's going to look and if you're going to be happy with it. Very easy to adjust. Heck, if you want people to see where you're going, you can flip it all the way forward. But for now, I'm going to put it back into this position. Simply tighten these 4 screws. Not crazy tight, just tight, and then we'll give it a little wiggle, and then we'll go for a test drive again. So now the mount is nice and tight, but in terms of taking my phone, if I want it, I can have it. You don't have to take the whole thing with you. You can take it all apart and simply hold your phone and push on these and they will release. Then putting it in, start on one side, push, bring the other side down, kind of level it out. And again, this is where the lovely little elastic, if you will, comes into play. Loops around all the corners and holds it in place. Now it is a windy one, but now that we're at the bottom, you can also change colors if you want. You don't have to rock the blue. It also comes with a gray. And like I said, it is the exact same size, so it doesn't matter. It's whatever color you like. Ta-da!